Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Atka Design. I am here with part 2 of decorating this wine journal, or this journal made from a wine calendar. And I did look up who had requested the decorating portion of this project, and it was a channel called Roses and Prayers. So this, my lovely, is for you. Okay, so I did, like a good girl, I did my homework. These are the masterboards. I wanted to cut them in front of you, so I'm just going to set them aside for the time being and show you what I did do. Now you can see it's becoming a bit of a thing. Okay, so I had that wine magazine. Doesn't matter what it is. And I cut out so many teeny weeny little wine bottles, and I glued some of them down. So just here's to break up the thing. I put in one of the wine tasting sheets from that pad. This I intend to glue here. I did try unsuccessfully to split this, and you can see I did some damage there. So this will now be glued down as a pocket. But I did want to leave some actual, because you've never seen people gluing before, I wanted to leave some stuff to do with you. Oh, the other thing I should point out is I did cover all of the, upside down calendar blocks. So this one came out of that this was the one that's all stained and had been dribbled on and marked up. Now none of the pages obviously were big enough to cover this whole thing, so I used just some ledger paper that was nearby. So you're going to see a variety, but basically because these pages are so bright, big, glossy, what I've done, not total coverage of course, is just use sort of coordinating just copy paper and some of those book pages. In some cases, I don't know that my measuring was necessarily off, but in some cases I got closer to the gutter than in others. So I guess I can decide what to do at some point, whether it needs, like I always hesitate adding more bulk at this point, because that's obviously where the greatest strain is on the book. However, probably washi tape wouldn't hurt or add that much. On this page, I took apart that little book on, excuse me, sort of a record of, wines that have been tasted. And again, not big enough to cover everything, so I pieced it together. Again, if I end up giving this to my would-be son-in-law, would-be future, I can't imagine that he would ever actually use it, but it would just be another thing to put in his wine room. Early on, and I regret that I never shared that in a video, I covered a blank wooden box. I decoupaged wine labels all over it, and it looks very cool. And he seemed very appreciative, so I don't know if that was... He's such a good guy. I believe it was genuine, but it never hurts to suck up to one's future mother-in-law either. So I used that paper as well. Oh, I was just holding this here. This was a wine bottle that got damaged as I was ripping that page out, so I had to keep shortening it and shortening it. I did back all of these bottles with some nice paper. Now this maybe isn't the nicest, but it won't matter because this is going to be one of two similar belly bands. So I'll do that with you as well. More pages out of the recipe book. This I did nothing with because, you know, it's just a matter of tucking things in. Some purple and some purple. Oh, this is a pocket. I was getting kind of sick and tired of doing this, so I turned this into a pocket rather than a flippy thing. This practically lights up the night sky. I also cut out a couple of these little tiny images out of the wine magazine, and I thought that on a narrow page like this I could afford to turn this into a tab. Now I thought I had another one clipped. Maybe it's still coming. Look how cute that looks. Now, because when I was excuse me, when I was first folding the calendar pages, you know, sometimes I goof, and I had a very pronounced crease in the paper there. So I thought, okay, why don't I just use these guys to disguise that? Here is the other potential belly band. Oh, here's the other thing. More of that, and see, that's kind of the fold issue. And here's another one. Anyway, what can I say? I do have the word wines. I do have more tiny bottles if I need them. Oh, I should also, oh no, I did that with you. I just want to not, whoops. Oh, see, there hasn't been time for anyone to tell me what this is. I'll try to keep that in mind. I just want to, let me dig through this pile. Oh, I also have these things that were, you know, you always see this on the back cover of a calendar. Whoops. Oh, missed those. So here I could obviously back these and have them tiny little journaling cards, you know, things to stick in pockets. I don't think I need any more belly bands, to be honest. Now, of course, as you can see, I cut them all vertically. You know, if I would have cut some horizontally, that might have been a different story. But anyway, can't anticipate everything. Okay, oh, I haven't done anything with this. I still have this, which probably won't get used in hindsight because, well, I guess I could, no, if I cut, no matter how I cut this, it's going to end up in as individual bottles, so not going to do that. What I was, oh, here's another thing. Sorry, I should have yikes. This that we did in the last video, yesterday's video. So I just tucked some of these things in here to keep them all together. So these things, and I forgot to point out that this journal has, is it just two? It has top loading pockets here and here, as well as, are those the only two in that format? Could be, but of course it's got, you know, this big full height pocket here. Yeah, I guess it's just two top loading pockets. So let's see. I don't suppose this is going to fit, is it? That is going to be a very tight squeeze. So I'm probably going to end up having to trim these down slightly to make them fit. Or I could just do something like that where the page is a bit wider. But we'll, I guess, cross that bridge when we come to it. Sorry about my nose. You know, one thing in that trip to Mexico, okay, so some of you may not know that I live on the Canadian prairie, which means that I'm nowhere near an ocean or a body of water, or, you know, a big body of water, and that the air tends to be very dry, which is good for some, you know, medical conditions or whatever. And in my case, I'm here because that's where our land is, and because it's a wonderful place to live. I'm just looking for a Kleenex. Anyway, so get to Mexico, and of course, within moments, it seems like, oh, my skin is so soft. My lips are so soft. And of course, over a day or two, one's hair gets a bit frizzy. Sorry, I just need to dab at my nose here. And I'm telling you, the reverse happened so quickly as well. I think we were still, maybe still at the airport, having gotten back when already the skin was crackling and drying up. And of course, you need, chapstick or whatever, lip balm. Okay, so do I know anything more than when we started this process? Probably not. So I'm just going to open up my cutter here. And we're going to, I know how people love cutting stuff blind. I didn't quite clean my desk totally. I just pushed it out of your view. Okay, I know how people love when people cut these things blind. So I think what I'll do first is just neaten up the edges. This was done on book page, so that's why it looks the way it does. And because of that, I typically never, glue right to the very top. A little sliver of white there. A little sliver there. It might have been Christmas or my birthday or Mother's Day, whatever, one of those gift-giving or gift-receiving occasions. I spotted this cutter, and it's a Fisker's bypass cutter. And so I put that on my whatever list it was, and my people got it for me. I have to say, it is a workhorse of a cutter, and whatever system, whatever blade they use here, it never needs replacing, because I'm sure that like you, I have, the kind that needs replacement blades, because it doesn't take long for a blade to get dull, and then next thing you know, you're having to replace blades, and they're not cheap. Or you push your luck and you find that it's tearing as opposed to sort of chewing away at the paper as opposed to a nice clean cut. So I'm just saying that this is one of those tools that is worth the money, in my humble opinion. Maybe I should take a hair more off there. I don't really care for that little teensy bit off white that's showing. Now maybe something was off a bit in my gluing, because I still see a little bit. Now, if I were an inker, excuse me, that would have been another way to deal with it. Okay, and then number three is this red one. And you can see that the eagle-eyed among you will have noticed that there is sort of a color thing going on with each of these. Okay. I have to say the weather around here is kind of kooky. But I think that is now a common reaction all over the world. The things that we've never seen before are happening or happening with increasing frequency. Oh, I see the little tiny corners lifting there. I have to put a little dab of glue. See that? Where is my... Oh. Okay, I can... Oh, I was going to say I can get rid of the cutter, but no, I can't. The cutting, the fun part is just about to begin. Oh, why is this separating? I've got 3 layers here to glue. I think I'm going to have to... Oh my goodness. I think I'm going to have to break down and buy a new nozzle kit for this bottle. I've told you before, it deteriorated to the point where the metal actually got eaten through. So that little tip is gone because it broke off. And then oh, still nothing is coming out. What the heck? I need so very little, and yet it's plugged up. Anyway, because the very tip of this broke off, it now makes the nozzle larger, which means that this pin probably isn't doing its full job. And it also means that it's harder to make a very skinny, little, delicate line of glue. So, good grief. Okay, we can't waste any more time with that. I will fix that corner after the cutting. So, let's give this thing a few spins and think before cutting. I did all the master boards in landscape. What are we talking about here for height? So it's just a hair. It's roughly 8 inches. Now my journal is 11 by what? 4.5 or something like that. Well, 4.25, really. So we can't afford to have anything wide. Height obviously is not going to be an issue, but we really... Oh, there's also this pocket. Hey, why don't I stick these 2 things in there right off the bat? I might want to add tabs to them so that the person... I guess that's going to be obvious. Anyway, okay. So it will be impossible to make anything too tall to fit, is what I'm trying to say here. Okay. And how wide? Roughly 11 inches. Okay. So we have, or will have, more pockets. Unlike some people, I do not have, a fixed size in mind as to, oh, my tags are always going to be 3 by 6 or whatever. You know what might be kind of nice is a horizontal, I'll wait and do that in a minute, a horizontal belly band or 2, because they could end up being pockets. So maybe what I should do is, if I go 4 inches, I should be safe. Now, 8 inches tall, that means I could go, Well, that's less than 3 inches each if I was trying to do 3. So what, 2 3/4 perhaps? So, and we won't reveal till the end. This is about, this is 5 1/4, so that would be less than, so we'll just eyeball that. And these could be pockets sort of staggered up the page, or they could be belly bands. I'll just set that to the side. Okay, now this paper was beautiful. It came from an oversized book that had plates, you know, art plates that were just tacked in 1 or 2 places. So there's a little wound right there. However, I don't think anyone's going to object. Okay, so we now have 8 inches left. Let's do, well, we better not leave anything that's 5 inches wide because that'll be bad. Four might be pushing it though. Anyway, I'm just going to cut this at the 4-inch mark. I don't know why that is like that. Just taking a bit off there. Probably didn't trim that. Okay, so number 2. Give it a few spins. Maybe this one I should cut this way. No, I don't want to do that. Okay. So we will go, oh, I see I have a little something here too that needs reinforcement. Now the other thing I could do, of course, is once these things are, now that they're being cut up, I could, you know, stitch around them just for an added look of some sort. I think I'll do 1 8-inch tall. So this was what, 3.5? 3.5, which then leaves us with 7.5. So I could do, okay, 7.5 is 3 3/4. We're cutting it in half that way, and then we'll cut it in half this way. So again, that's 8 inches, so we'll get 2 4s out of this. And maybe on the other one, we'll do a 3 and a 5. Now, some of the pages are narrower, and you know, have shallow pockets. So maybe I want something a bit thinner and tall. So let's do this one 3 inches. And that leaves us with 8 inches. Oh, that's right, 11 inches. 11 minus 3 equals 8. Don't even have to carry the 1. Okay, 8 inches. Maybe I should do the old pocket or the horizontal thing again. I'm cutting that at 4. I'll leave this one intact and I will cut this one. Maybe just in half. So what is it, 8? So this ends up being a 4x4. Okay. Get rid of this baby. You know, when I first set up my studio, I had this thing on top of a piece of whatever, storage, furniture, where I could use it standing up. And before you know it, it turned into, whoa, that wasn't the cutter. It turned into a treadmill-like thing, or a rowing machine-like thing, in that it was always covered with, not with clothes, but with other things, and inaccessible when I actually needed it. So then I started storing it under my desk in a wooden crate, along with some other things. But that is probably when the little shield got broken. So now I just fold it up and put it on this little carty type thing right here at my side. Okay, let us do the big, big, big reveal. Just randomly turn these over. I love that image there, by the way. And because these wine labels were, you know, little pieces of art on their own, they, you know, they can't help but be good. Now, what I see, I have a little thing that needs trimming there. Obviously, this one maybe needs something there, but we're not going to concern ourselves with that right this second. Oh, I was going to say, I forgot that I had put some things sideways. I should also, as I'm going along here, some of these are going to slip out of your sight because there won't be room for them all. Love this street scene. Love that weather vane. Rooster. Love those poppies. Oh. Okay, this could be an issue. Well, maybe not. I was going to say it reads landscape, but it would be stuck into a pocket vertically. Same thing here. So I guess that's the danger of doing this blind. How about some naked women? Okay. I don't subject you to, try not to subject you to inking, because I really don't do much of it, and not very often to gluing, but how about I give you the thrill of corner rounding? Does that make everyone's heart go pitter-patter, pitter-patter? I will just tell you that I started that story and didn't finish. That the weather has been bizarre. Like the end of December was very cold here. And snow, 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 snow. Then we get away to Mexico January 1st to, I think we were actually back home on the 9th. As we spent the night, our flight came in so late that we spent the night in the city. Anyway, it is now so warm, so far above zero. Oh, see, that problem corner is going to disappear. So far above zero that there's the melt is on. Yesterday, kind of midday, I went out there and tried to get some of that ice off the sidewalk, because you know, in my past, I have fallen on an icy sidewalk, this very icy sidewalk, And I don't know if I told you that story or not, but anyway, you know, women don't, or at least none of the women I know, ever go anywhere empty-handed. We're loaded down with something other, whether we're walking across the house, up and down stairs, or house to garage, or whatever. We have a purse, we have a tote bag, we have an armful of mail, you know, recyclable bags, groceries, whatever. And quite often there's a man with us who's carrying his set of keys and not much more. Anyway, husband's at a conference, it's winter, I'm going wherever it is that I'm going. I come to the T intersection off the sidewalk, and despite wearing, you know, shoes that have some grip that would just impress you, down I went. And of course, the very first reaction is shock that this could even have happened. Surprise, wondering, well, how in the world did it happen? And then the third thing is wanting very much to cry, because at this point, I don't know if I've broken anything, if I've really hurt myself, and if I'm going to be able to get up on my own steam. I see I need a little gluing there. I might end up just sewing these things. Anyway, and I did, of course, because I had my hands full, I did have my purse and my cell phone. Except, you know, we're plucky prairie stock. We, you know, sort of pride ourselves on handling things on our own. You know, I've never been a helpless woman. I don't want to start now. So I'm thinking, well, I will just, see, I should have trimmed that before I rounded. I will just get up and get back to the house. So I did. It hurt like heck. There are, what is it, 4 steps, I think, to get into the house. And I'm thinking, oh, this is not good. So I know enough first aid, having been an EMT decades ago, that, you know, you want to ice and elevate and so on. So in the province, we have a phone number, 3-digit phone number you can call. It's called HealthLink, and you can talk to a nurse. And, you know, it's almost not worth the time and effort to do that, because inevitably, you know, yes, they'll ask the questions, and yes, you'll be forced to, you know, think the actual answers through, and, you know, pain scale and so on. But, you know, what it boils down to is I think most of us have a pretty good sense as to whether or not we need additional care. So, long story short, I ended up having to call my husband to leave his conference, come home, and drive me to an emergency department. I could not walk. Basically, I ratcheted up my knee, and I don't think there was really ever a good explanation as to what happened. But I'll tell you, until I managed to borrow a walker, I was getting around the house on my office chair that is on casters. You know, wasn't able to stand at the sink or the counter, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I know firsthand, and that was without needing a cast, or I did need physio for quite a while after that, but all I'm saying is preventing these injuries in the first place is so much more efficient than getting to a hospital, waiting in an emergency department, and then, you know, all the follow-up remediation that a person needs. Okay, so oh, this isn't what I wanted. We have a few things to add here, so let's do that. Oh, and I should also get my Fabri-Tac. Whoopsie. So yes, if you're in a, and there have been so many freeze-thaw cycles this year. So apparently yesterday was plus 11. Today is going to be similar, and I do have to go out. I have to leave home today. And again, hubby's at a conference, just left for a conference today. I have to go to town to the post office and mail an Etsy order. So I will be extra cautious because I don't have time to be on the injured list. Okay, so this, I stuck those few items in there. Little bottle there. We'll leave this as it is for the time being. Now I was going to glue this, and when I looked at the bottles that I hadn't backed, I thought, you know, I don't need to back things that are just going to be glued down, because, you know, that is kind of a time-consuming step. So why waste the backing paper and the time it takes to do it if no one's ever, you know, it'll never see the light of day. So let's just put this guy down here. Let's use probably this, because this is thicker stuff. I did glue that down, but you can see it's forever marred, and there was some other damage over here. So, oh, this is flowing. It does help, obviously, with Fabri-Tac to have your bottle almost full and to periodically add some acetone, and not right before you need to use the glue, but to give it time to you know, settle and mix in and so on. That may be the only time I need Fabri-Tac. I'm just going to hold this for a second because it is a bit thick and it is close to the edge here, so I want good adhesion. So this may be a time to pick. What do I have for them? What is my narrowest thing here? Now I could, well, maybe I'll just stick this in for the time being. One thing that I don't do very often, and that, I don't know, does that mean it's part of my style, or is it just an oversight? I don't usually make a big deal about adding tabs and fibers and whatever. I won't jam that all the way down because maybe that glue is not quite grabbed yet. This looks good together because of the reddy orange in the tag. Okay, so this, we'll leave that for the time being. Okay, so now let's remember those top-loading pockets and see. Oh, that's at the centerfold. Okay, so let's see if this goes. Now, in a case like this, definitely I should be adding some fibers, because you can see that if this thing fell down here, there'd be no way of ever seeing it again. So, okay, that, and this one is narrow enough too. Okay, so these two guys need fibers, but I might, okay, so this is the, again, just because I'm doing it this way doesn't mean that you should or whatever. I'm not saying that in any way. I'm just saying that sometimes if we don't take a breath and think, it's easy to do something in the wrong order. So I could, because I have millions of eyelets, I could set some eyelets here. However, if I set an eyelet before I sew around it, that causes a problem because there isn't going to be enough room for the foot, the sewing machine foot, to get past the eyelet. So that's a consideration. So I need to figure out if I'm sewing before I do that. Or I could use one of my favorite, this slot punch. But, you know, then you need kind of a flat ribbon or whatever to use there. I mean, a little tiny thread would look ridiculous. So let's know that these two things still need some care and attention. Okay, so back to where we were. Nothing there. So we're leaving this for the time being. Then we come to that. Okay, so obviously I better start putting something somewhere. Oh, what I thought was with some, now this is unbacked and so is this. So those are potential things that could just be glued down. I also have the word wines. Now, because these guys are all backed, except this guy. See, here's another one. They were kind of nested around each other. So that's why this one is deformed like that green one was. Now, I could do something like that, or I could also do something like that where it becomes the method for flipping. So let's just try these two biggest bottles, see which looks better. I would think this one probably. And because it's already backed, somebody could write on there, or I don't have to worry about backing it now. So let's just be sure that that is the place we want to do it. Now, too late to do anything like that there. So maybe my chances are diminishing. I suppose, but we'll see, maybe. And I do have other sizes as well that just could be tucked into pockets. Oh, you know, that's another thing we could do. Okay, so we could also do something like this here, but maybe let's do that instead. These are actual pockets. So we'll put one in there. This could be here. That might look kind of nice, the red against the purple. So let's hold that spot there. I think it looks better here, probably because of those pinks that are there. Oh, I turned this into a pocket because I was sick of covering stuff up. Maybe this could be tucked in here. Oh, too wide. I suppose the other one is the same width. Yep. So either, I think I'll keep these two guys together. Now this, but there's nothing to really hold it there. I could do that. It kind of, but they still need trimming. Let's get my little guillotine cutter, which is, oh my God, still out of reach. Sorry, I need to reload my crate here because I've got a big mess going on. Okay, and we're back. So, we're not going to cut off anything. Maybe I'll put this one on top just so I can see. I'll do them separately. Okay, so let's take it down to 3 3/4. So that means re-rounding the corner. 3 3/4. And of course, because I'm so diligent at putting stuff away. She said, ironically. Okay, these guys I think look good here because they pick up that blush color in the sky. And again, you know, there are millions of ways. There are as many ways of decorating this as there are people doing the decorating. That I'm just explaining or talking you through what I'm doing and the rationale for it. Because past comments, I should figure out some of these pocket things. Past comments have told me, these guys are all bigger, that many of you appreciate knowing the thought process because you learn something from it. So we'll leave that as it is for the time being. I don't know if something more will get added because I have so many of these. Maybe I should add another one of these. Again, if a person doesn't want to use it for which it was intended, the back of it is a nice way to is a good journaling spot. Oh, I said I was going to do the tabs. So this is just, you know, out of that wine book. So typically what I would do in a case like this, now that's going to be pretty flimsy, but again, we don't have a great deal of room to have this sticking out. So I'm just going to add glue, decide where on the page I want it, and then fold it back on itself. I think I was, no, let's not glue two pages together. I don't, maybe that's not quite enough. I don't want this to be sticking out a great deal. Number one, it's going to weaken it because it's just paper after all. Now, nobody's going to take out their ruler to measure whether this is the same on both sides. So I'm not even paying attention to what's happening on this side. I was looking at it from the purple side. And then by squeezing it together, it does effectively double that, and it's still, you know, it will stick out a wee bit there. There was another one of those somewhere. Oh, right here. And I think I like this one too because the purple, you know, it shows up against there. So I suppose I should have done that differently, but it's not the end of the world. Another thing that I found rather annoying that gave me extra work, and I see I didn't deal with it here, is that even though presumably these were 8 or 11-inch tall papers, and the copy paper is 8.5 by 11, I found that in many cases I had a little tiny strip of something showing, and I ended up having to trim that by hand with scissors. That's kind of cool. Okay, so I was pulling out those pockets. Guess I can put these paper clips out of sight too now. So these guys, and of course the opportunity to decorate them. Oh, see, I shouldn't really have probably rounded the corners. Okay, let's just be sure that I've got all of them that count. Oh, so these deeper ones could be pockets, particularly. Okay, so let's keep those guys. These are all bigger. Okay, so let's find a place to put some of these guys. Now I could, because the page is so tall, I could end up putting 2 on a page. Maybe I should glue down the things I'm absolutely sure of first. Oh, it's landed in wet glue. Great. Great. Okay. So what I can do here that is going to minimize mess is kind of figure out my positioning. Maybe even use those paper. Well, I can't. Oh yeah, I can use the paper. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I have 2 paper clips. I'm going to sort of figure out how much of this I want extended. I'm going to paper clip this here and this here. Then I'm going to flip this over and make a very faint. This is when you want a really hard pencil. I don't know if this is it, probably not, but anyway, a faint line. And then I know exactly where to position my glue. And I need the presence of mind to know that I need to put the glue on this side, not this side. Of this side, not this side. Of this side. Oh, God. You may hear this more than once from me, but I should say that maybe the reason I'm feeling a bit more lighthearted and goofy is because on Monday, the 12th, we heard word, got test results. For those of you that watched my New Year's message, you'll know that a family member had a health scare that started around December. Okay, let's do this right. That started around December, I don't know, 23rd or 24th. I can't remember which. That had the potential to be something really horrific. But we got word on Monday, and this is after an ultrasound, an MRI, Christmas, office closures, the doctor being hard to, her working abridged or abbreviated, 2 days a week kind of thing, that the thing is non-cancerous. So clearly that has lifted our hearts. I want to thank those of you who, through text, email, video comments, offered your hearts and your prayers and your thoughts to a good outcome and or the strength to deal with a not good outcome. And it just kind of reaffirms to me, number one, that you guys are very special. And number two, that, that, and this isn't a direct quote, of course, when 2 or more are gathered in my name, I am there also. So, group prayers obviously have a great deal of power. Okay, I could do this guy too. Same scenario. Where are those clips? This is a bigger bottle and a smaller flap, so I can probably scooch that over a bit more than on the last one. But of course, I still want this skinny neck of this bottle to be, secured as well. Okay, that looks straight to me. It's closer to the bottom than the top, but that's probably okay. Okay, just a reminder, the gluing is going on the bigger half. I mean, the glue is going on the bigger half. So, yes, you know, it was unfortunate timing that this kind of all happened during holiday closure, office closures and so on. But, you know, it was good that we were all in Mexico together. And I don't think it ever left anyone's mind fully because, of course, you know, until you hear otherwise, one's imagination tends to run amok. And anyway, maybe let's do this upside down just so I can have it on my right hand. So again, this is not going to be perfectly centered on the page, on the flap, but it will tend to be lower as opposed to higher. Now these backed bottles are a little bit thick, so it's going to take a bit of time for that to grab. And you know what? It might not have been a bad idea to, I guess I'll see over time. If it looks like, you know, it needs a dab of art glitter glue or something, then obviously I will add that. Okay, let us do this now. So we need to stay away from this fold. But you know what? I really don't have anything. Maybe this will be our test case again. I need something obviously tall and skinny to demonstrate that it's a belly band, but also something narrow enough to actually fit in there. So that's going to be a little touch and go too. Okay, so obviously I can only put glue here and here, and a fairly narrow bead. Now on this, I'm going to pull out our glitter glue. I'm going to, oh, did I get this? I didn't actually get this flowing, did I? I need a bigger pin. I have this gobbed up, corsage pin that I use for occasions like this because it's strong and long. Yeah, I'm going to have to add that to my list of things to buy. Oh, for the record, in case you're lying awake nights wondering, I have not begun thrifting. I've not resumed thrifting. I still delete auction listings that come to my inbox without opening them. And yeah, still finding it easy. It helps that I have so darn much stuff. It's like Christmas every day. And of course, if I need new things, like a tip for this, and of course you have to buy it in a set with the nozzle and the stainless steel pins, because I think anyone who's discovered or has tried to, you know, beat the system knows very quickly that if the pin is not stainless steel, it rusts and turns the glue brown. Oh. Landline is ringing. For those of you who don't remember what that is, oh, I just stuck my fingers in the glue. Not really thinking about this. Anyway, a landline is where people had a phone that plugged into a wall jack and that you paid a monthly fee for the privilege of having it. Okay, I think I'm going to plunk this down right there. Apply some pressure. So it is a foreign, geez, just enough glue to have it ooze out and make a mess. This is one of the best tools, like I talked about my bypass cutter. Well, let's just say that this ranks right up there. There's no comparison in the price, but they're both vital. When you have a little glue issue that may need a little more work than I can take the time to do right now. Okay, hopefully, well, we know art glitter glue grabs quickly. Let's do the old testaruno. Oh, well, it worked, but boy, couldn't very well be any bigger than that or wider than that. That still annoys me. Okay, and look, that's pretty darn, and it's almost like we had a plan there. Okay, so far we just have a bottle tucked in there. Need something to tuck in there. That is very gorgeous. This became an actual pocket, so do we want to, oh, see, these might be too wide. Why didn't someone remind? Okay, this can fit here, and this purple picks up on that, and this purple from the streetscape picks up on that. So I might end up having to, find deeper pockets. Or trim these guys down. We shall see. Oh, I got distracted and forgot what my mission was. Adding these guys as pockets. So, not there. How about if we, but that's going to be a heck of a color to me. What is this little thing here? Don't tell me there was something on the... See, I can't leave stuff like that alone. Is the kid anal or what? Where's my pokey tool? Okay, does everyone need to get patted down now? Not there. Oh, maybe I could use the pinpoint of... There must have been something on the masterboard surface, because there's this little divot, not divot, a little raised bump there that poked a hole in the paper. I'm going to be putting something over this, because my excision of the foreign object is not very... I wonder what the heck this is. Is it a glue blob? Okay, it's a crumb of some sort that got... And big, too. What the heck? Okay, this will have to be covered. Now, you guys will promise not to tell anyone, right? That there was a foreign body here. Could have used a plastic surgeon, I think. Okay, I think that is now lying flat. So I will figure out something. Oh, why don't I glue a little bottle over it? Where are my bottles? And this, I'm going to have to trim, I think. Take it off the more boring side. Oh, see, that's what you end up. Sometimes you get your little collage thingamajigger coming off. Oops. Okay. Now, I was going to do a little bottle, so it's going to have to contrast or match. That could probably work. Luckily, the white labels. Oh, look, there's this lady. That's rather pink, though. Maybe I should go with my first choice and not belabor this. Let's just be sure that I got it all. Because, you know, if I don't, we'll just have another lump on another thing. I'm going to use our glitter glue just for quick hold. And I should be checking the time, I guess. Oh, save the day. Okay, move these guys out of the way. And I still didn't cut out all the possible little bottles out of that magazine. But I thought, oh my goodness, surely that's enough. Oh, and I also have, what did I do with the card? Oh, right here. Wine labels. Collecting wine labels, so I can stick that in a pocket. I might need to trim down the sides, though. Okay. Now, if a person were to look really closely, they could see something fishy right there. However, because you guys are sworn to secrecy, I'm not worried about that getting out. Do we want something? I think this might have to be the one again because of that. Oh, see, they belong together. But now I have to cut this one down. So it looks like if I take it off, line this up, take it off right there, it should line up. Not that that is so critical, but it's a happy accident. Oops, lost a little bottle. It's a happy accident, and it almost looked like, oh my good God, she does such precision work. Look at it. And the reality is that once this is, I should probably use Fabri-Tac. Once there's something in these pockets, you would never even be able to see it. I think that I will use my oval punch. Maybe I should try to do both. This is pretty thick, you know, but usually I offset them just to avoid thinking about or measuring or having, I got hit by shrapnel. you know, without having to think about either living with a crooked thing or I'll put the lowest one as low as I can and then position the other one. That phone keeps ringing. Oh, you know, part of what the issue is here, that because I used art glitter glue, now maybe you can't see it, but from my angle, with the lights on, I see the little beads of art glitter glue underneath there, which is a pain in the derriere. No, these, again, that's the danger with the tall skinny. The pockets become very narrow. So I'm putting this as low as I possibly can, which means that, you know, taller items would be accommodated if necessary, if desired. Best not to move it once you've placed it, but I'm sure I'm not alone in doing that. Okay. So I could probably put this about here and be happy. Then I'll see if that tag fits there, although it does not match its surroundings. Again, it might have been better not to round the bottoms of these pockets, but, oh, I see this one hasn't caught yet. Try like heck to have them lined up. Okay, I bet you this doesn't fit. So, back to the drawing board. Oh, I could also put in those 2 stickers. You know what I'm going to do? Line that up there. I'll just end up with a hairline of a little mat showing, and it should be even all around. I could put those sticker labels, wine labels, in a pocket. Hopefully that will not stick to anything. Maybe I should just leave that on top for the time being. Here are a couple stickers. We'll put those in here. Backings and all. Double check that it's not sticking. Take a chance on this, because you know, oh, we like to live on the edge around here. I'll just leave it on top because, you know, why tempt fate? Okay, I have, let me check the time. Probably not going to finish this today. Oh dear, we're over an hour. It's still not complete. Okay, so I'm dropping everything right now. I will continue to add some finishing touches. I still have bottles. I still have tags that may need, you know, to be resized. I should figure out what to do with some of this wrapping paper because it is so cool. I could just cut a hunk off and fold it artfully so that it fits in, you know, a belly band or whatever. Oh, I didn't glue down that second belly band. Okay, I'm going to continue working on this, and the next time you see it, it'll be a flip through. So I've got some tags to add. I've got these 2 guys to add something to. How about a bungee cord for those deep, deep pockets? I almost, and I might end up doing this, I feel like, oh, and I also can add some more of these pages just in pockets, because really, what am I going to do with them? We'll add some of those. But what I started to say is I really feel like I should take this apart, salvage the paper that or I could just fold it perhaps, stick it in a pocket. Yeah, I'm going to fold it rather than take it apart. Okay, that is the plan. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you either enjoyed the storytelling or you learned something, or hopefully maybe some of each. I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for being here. Bye-bye.